The stars above Earth were calm and quiet when the signal came. It was not a normal message. It was broken and strange, like someone crying in pain through a machine. Earth's Space Command picked it up fast. The computers tried to translate it, but failed. It was not a human language. Then they noticed something else. The ship was drifting near the edge of the moon's orbit. It was large, shaped like a spiral, and not from Earth. The commanders met quickly. They did not think it was an attack. The signal felt like a call for help. They sent a small scout ship. It flew close and scanned the alien vessel. Life signs were faint but there. One was strong but fading. The others were cold. The main life sign was deep in the center of the ship. The scan showed something else. The being was female. Her body was shutting down. There was a problem in her blood system, clot, but not like anything seen before. Alien machines were trying to help her, but they were failing. Earth's best medical AI tried to help. It studied the case, but gave no answers. It said one thing: only a human with real hands and real thinking might help. They needed a doctor who had worked in the field, someone who had seen strange cases and found new answers. They called Dr. Alan Brooks. He was in a small hospital in the Colorado mountains. He liked quiet work. He had left big jobs behind after losing a patient years ago. When the call came, he said no. But then they showed him the scan. He looked at the strange body, the complex blood patterns, and the unusual clot, said yes. Dr. Brooks flew to the spaceport. He met his small team. There was Carla, a nurse who had worked with him before. She was fast and calm. Drew, a tech who knew how to mix human and alien machines. And Megan, a language expert. She had worked with alien signals for years. They were given a fast ship and flew to the alien vessel. When they arrived, the ship opened its door. It was like the ship knew who they were. Lights came on. A soft path lit up for them. They walked inside. The walls moved slowly, showing them where to go. The air was clean but smelled strange. The ship led them to a large room. In the middle was a clear pod. Inside was the alien woman. Her skin was pale blue. Her hair floated like thin clouds. Her eyes were shut. Machines were around her, beeping in a low tone. Megan used her translator and spoke to the ship. A voice answered. It was soft and sad. The ship said her name was Vera. She was important on her world. The ship had flown for many days, searching for help. It found Earth by luck. Dr. Brooks stepped closer. He looked at the scans. The clot was deep in her chest, but it was more than a lump. It seemed to change shape, like it was alive. Her blood was thick and slow. Her heart was strong, but tired. He had never seen anything like this. But he also saw a pattern. It reminded him of a rare human case he once treated. He told the team they had a chance. He needed a place to work. Drew and Carla began setting up the tools. Megan kept talking to the ship. The ship helped them, giving power and light. Dr. Brooks watched Vera's chest rise and fall. Time was short. He had to act fast, but he had to be careful. This was not just about science. This was about trust. An alien life had come across the stars, not for war, but for help. And only a human doctor might save her. Dr. Brooks stood beside the alien woman. Her name, Virea, stayed in his mind. She looked peaceful, but the machines told a different story. Her body was fighting to stay alive. The clot inside her chest was getting worse. He knew they had little time. Carla checked the supplies and began laying out tools. Drew set up the scanner and tried to link it with the ship's systems. Megan worked with the translator, speaking to the ship's voice. The ship was alive in some way. It answered Megan's questions, told her how long Vera had been sick and what the other machines had done. But even the ship did not understand the clot. It was something new. Dr. Brooks opened his bag and took out a small device. It was old, but he trusted it. He ran it over Vera's chest. The device gave him a better view inside her. Her veins were strange. They split and joined again in odd ways. Her blood was dark, not red. The clot was deep and large. It moved a little as if it had a mind of its own. He asked the ship more questions. Megan helped with the words. The ship explained something strange. Varia was not a full alien. She was part of two different species. One parent was from her home planet, and the other was from a forgotten race. That mix had caused something inside her to change. It was this change that made the clot grow. Dr. Brooks thought hard. It reminded him of rare blood cases in humans, where the body fights against its own blood. He once saw a child with a blood type that reacted badly to a new treatment. That case had ended well. He hoped this one would too. He needed a plan. He told the team they would need to work fast. They could not move Vieira to Earth. The ship was the only place keeping her alive. So they would turn one of the rooms into a surgery bay. The ship helped again. One of the walls opened and showed a clean space. Lights came on. Tables rose from the floor. The air changed. It was now fit for humans to work. Carla and Drew moved quickly. They brought the tools and machines. Megan stayed with the ship, learning more about Vera's body. Dr. Brooks looked again at the scans. Something caught his eye. The clot seemed to react to Vereza's brainwaves. When her heart slowed, the clot slowed. When her brain showed stress, the clot grew. It was not just a problem in the blood, it was linked to her thoughts. He told Megan to ask the ship if Viria had strong memories or emotions before she got sick. The ship showed an image. It was Virea standing in a city of light. Behind her, a dark storm was coming. She had made a choice. She had left her people to stop a war. But that pain, that fear had stayed in her mind. Dr. Brooks now understood. The clot was not just in her body. It was tied to her memory. It was like her body was holding on to the pain in a physical form. He had never seen anything like it. But now he knew what to do. He would not cut the clot out. That could kill her. Instead, he would try something else. He would send a signal into the clot. A soft wave, using both sound and light. This would trick the clot into thinking the danger was over, and it might shrink or dissolve on its own. Drew worked on the signal tool. He used parts from both human and alien machines. Carla set up the monitors. Megan helped the ship stay calm. The room was quiet, but full of energy. Everyone knew this was not a normal surgery. Dr. Brooks looked at Virea again. Her face was calm, but a small tear had formed at the corner of her eye.
Hey.
He wondered if she knew they were trying to help. He placed his hand near her head, not touching, just feeling the warmth. The tools were ready. The plan was risky. But it was the only chance. He gave the signal. The machine lit up. It was time to begin. The signal machine gave off a low hum. Blue and green lights moved across Vera's chest. The waves entered her body, reaching the strange clot deep inside. At first, nothing changed. The room was silent. Then the monitors began to blink faster. The clot was reacting. Dr. Brooks watched the screen. The shape of the clot began to shift. It pulled back from her veins. It was not breaking apart, but it was becoming smaller. It looked like the clot was listening to the signal. Carla stayed ready with tools. Drew adjusted the machine, making the signal stronger. McGinn kept speaking to the ship, letting it know what they were doing. Then Vera's body moved. Her eyes opened halfway. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. The machine picked up a spike in her brain activity. Megan stepped closer and heard her whisper something. It was in her language, but the translator spoke the words in English. "Why do you help me?" Dr. Brooks leaned down. He spoke softly, "'Cause you asked, and you are not alone." Her eyes closed again, but her brain activity stayed high. The clot began to change again. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Dr. Brooks realized something. The clot was tied to her emotions. The signal was only part of the answer. They needed to calm her mind too. He asked Megan to speak to Virea again, to tell her a story. Megan was unsure at first, but then she sat beside her. She spoke slowly. She told Vera about Earth, about the blue oceans, the green forests, and the children who played under the sun. She spoke about simple things. A small bird flying, a girl playing music, a river moving through the rocks. As Megan spoke, the monitors showed change. Verea's breathing became smoother. Her brainwaves calmed. The clot was shrinking. It was still there, but it was no longer growing. Drew smiled. It's working. She's responding. Carla checked the readings. Her blood is flowing better now. Still slow, but not blocked. Dr. Brooks knew they had to do more. The clot was weaker, but not gone. He needed to reach the last part of it. The emotional root. He remembered the image the ship had shown. Vera leaving her world to stop a war. He asked the ship to show more. The lights in the room dimmed. A new image filled the air. It It was a memory. Viraya stood before her people. He looked afraid. A great weapon was rising in the sky. She walked alone toward it, placing her hand on its core. The memory ended with bright light. She gave up everything to stop that weapon, Megan said. Maybe her mind still holds that pain. Dr. Brooks had an idea. He asked Megan to speak to Viraya again, to tell her she was safe now. Megan nodded.
Ash.
She took Vera's hand and spoke clearly. You stopped the war. You saved your people. Now let us save you. Vera opened her eyes again. This time they were clear. She looked at Megan, then at Dr. Brooks. A single word came out: trust. The clot pulsed once more, then began to fade. It was not fast, but it was steady. Dr. Brooks used a small device to help the process. The clot broke into small pieces. Her body absorbed them. The scan showed clean blood flow. Her heart beat strong again, the room filled with quiet joy. Drew leaned back. Carla smiled. Megan wiped a tear from her eye. Dr. Brooks took a deep breath. Vera was safe. He looked at her face. She was still weak, but she was alive. Her skin had more color now. Her body was no longer fighting. The clot was gone. Megan turned to the ship. She is healing now. Your journey was worth it. The ship made a sound, soft and warm. It was like a sigh of relief. Dr. Brooks knew there was more to do. Viraya would need rest. Her mind would need peace. But the worst part was over. They had done something no machine could do. They had reached into the body and mind of a stranger from the stars and helped her heal. It was not just science. It was something deeper, something only a human could give. The lights on the ship were dim, soft like early morning. Vera rested in the medical room, her eyes closed but calm. The machines showed normal signs. Her body was healing. Her blood was flowing without the clot. But Dr. Brooks did not leave her side. He watched the monitors and checked the signals. Even if the clot was gone, she was still weak. Carla cleaned the tools and packed the ones they no longer needed. Drew sat beside the machine that had sent the signal. He checked the energy levels and cooling systems. The process had pushed the ship's power hard. Megan stayed near the wall where she spoke to the ship's voice. The voice was quiet now. It answered when Megan asked, but it sounded tired. She guessed the ship had used much of its power to keep Viraya alive. Now it was running low. Dr. Brooks sat down for the first time in hours. He took a sip of water and looked at his team. Y'all did good work, he said, but we're not done yet. Megan walked over. The ship says it needs to recharge, but its core is damaged. It can't fly far. Drew stood up. If we can find a way to feed power into its systems from our ship, it might work. Carla nodded. But we should not move Viraya yet. Her body is still not ready. Dr. Brooks agreed. They would stay on the alien ship for now. He sent a message back to Earth, giving a short report. He left out the deep parts, the strange connection between emotion and biology. Some things he felt had to be told in person. Suddenly, the ship made a loud sound. A new alarm lit up. Drew ran to the wall where strange symbols flashed. Megan asked the ship what was wrong. Defense system waking, the voice said. Threat detected. Dr. Brooks stood up. What threat? We're the only ones here. Unknown process triggered, the voice said. Then a metal door closed behind them. The room grew cold. The lights turned red. The panel near Viraya's bed opened, and a small flying drone came out. It looked like a medical tool, but moved fast, scanning them one by one. It thinks we're hurting her, Drew said. We need to stop it, Carla said. Dr. Brooks raised his hand slowly. Let me try. He walked toward the drone. It moved close to him. A sharp light came from its front, scanned his face, his hands. Then it turned toward Vera. Dr. Brooks stepped between them. She's safe now, he said. We helped her. The drone made a high-pitched sound. It moved back, unsure. Megan spoke to the ship again. Tell your system we are friends. Tell it to stand down, the voice replied, slower than before. Defense active. Cannot stop. Only primary user can stop. They looked at Vera. She was the only one who could stop it. Dr. Brooks moved to her side. He gently called her name. Viraya, wake up. We need your help. Her eyes opened. She looked weak, but aware. The drone moved closer again. Viraya raised her hand slowly. Stop, she said. The drone froze. The lights turned back to normal. The red glow faded. The door opened again. Everyone let out a breath. Vera looked at them. Her voice was soft but clear. I know what you did. I felt it. You saved me. Dr. Brooks smiled. You saved yourself. We just helped. She nodded. I will tell my people. About Earth. About humans. Drew fixed the ship's power link, while Carla gave Virea water and checked her pulse. Megan spoke to the ship again, confirmed that the defense systems were now quiet. Dr. Brooks sat near Virea and asked, What will you do now? She looked at the ceiling. Return home. The people must know peace is possible, but I will not forget this. Dr. Brooks nodded. He felt tired, but also proud. They had faced fear, unknown machines, and a strange illness. But they had not given up. They had trusted each other. They had saved a life that had come from far beyond the stars. Now it was time to go home. The human team stood near the airlock, ready to leave. The alien ship was calm now. Its lights were steady. Machines were no longer in alarm mode. Virea sat upright on the medical bed. She still looked weak, but her eyes were clear. Dr. Brooks stepped forward. You're healing well. It will still take time, but you're strong. Vera gave a soft nod. You gave me that strength. I will carry your names in my memory. Carla packed the last of their tools. Drew disconnected the energy line that helped power the ship. Megan looked around one more time, taking in the curves and lights of the alien ship. None of them had ever seen anything like it. They knew they might never see it again. Virea stood slowly. She walked with care, still getting used to her strength. She carried a small object in her hand, like a stone that glowed from within. She stopped in front of Dr. Brooks. This is for you, she said, a gift from my world. It is called a starlight gem. It holds a memory. Dr. Brooks took it gently. The gem was warm. He saw images move inside its stars, voices, a child laughing, and a soft song. It was not just a stone. It was a piece of her life. Thank you, he said. I'll keep it safe. Vera turned to Megan. You spoke to my ship when I could not. You brought peace. Megan smiled. I only listened. Your ship had much to say. She looked at Drew. You fixed what could not be fixed. My ship will now find its way home. Drew nodded. I just gave it a little push. The ship did the rest. Then she looked at Carla. You watched over me like one of my own. I felt your care, Carla said. We're all just people, no matter the world we're from. Virea stepped back. The ship lights dimmed and then glowed blue. The voice of the ship returned, steady and strong. Thank you, it said. Journey recorded. Life preserved. The airlock door opened. Earth shuttle waited just outside. It was time for the team to leave. They walked slowly, each step feeling heavy. It was not easy to say goodbye. Dr. Brooks looked back one last time. Will we ever meet again? Vera answered. If the stars are kind. The door closed. The shuttle flew away, leaving the alien ship to drift gently toward deep space. It would fly slower now, but it would reach home. Viera was alive. That was enough. On the trip back, the team stayed quiet. They were tired, but it was not just the work. It was the feeling that they had touched something bigger than science. They had helped someone not because they had to, but because it was right. Back on Earth, they were welcomed with honor. News spread fast. An alien had come for help, and a human team had saved her. People called it a miracle. Dr. Brooks gave a short report, told the facts, but he left out many things. The memories, the trust, the soft words spoken in the quiet of space, those he kept to himself. A few days later, he sat at his desk looking at the starlight gem. It still glowed. He held it in his hand and listened to the sound inside. It was like wind through trees. He opened his notebook. He began to write. She had a clot only a human doctor could cure. Not because we were smarter, not because we had better tools, but because we saw her. We listened. We stayed. He paused, then wrote more. The stars are wide and full of silence, but sometimes they carry a voice. And if we listen, we may find a life waiting for help. He closed the book. Outside, the night sky was full of stars. Somewhere among them, Virea was flying home.